Hi there, welcome to my channel. This is episode 10 of the Breakdown series where I take a look at specific scenarios and I give you my thoughts on those scenarios. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. If this is not, ideally I hope you have subscribed, but I know most of you that watch my videos do not subscribe. In fact, only less than 10% subscribe to my channel. If you could do so, please go ahead and subscribe. It will help me greatly. All right, let's take a look at what we have for today's scenario. We have been running Scrum for a while. In the last 8 sprints, we have successfully achieved our sprint goal. And in our last 4 sprints, we have gotten our sprint goal much earlier than the sprint's time box of 2 weeks. What should we do in this case? Should we start another sprint? Should we add stretch goals? So a couple of things that comes to my mind when this scenario presents itself. One, what is currently happening? What is the team doing? Do they not do work? Do they, do something else? What do they do when they have achieved their sprint goal? The other thing that comes to mind is who is asking those questions? Is it the product owner? Is it the managers? Things like that. So what should the team do? Well, number one, I think I would say celebrate. If you haven't celebrated yet, I would make sure that you celebrate and enjoy the success. In other words, you have been able to complete all the work that you commit to do and achieve the sprint goal. I think that's a yay, celebrate, right? Awesome. Now what? Well, I think the first thing I would want to do is bring it back to the team. So ideally, you would have talked about it during your retrospective as a team to say, hey guys, team, we've done this for the last 4 sprints. We've achieved it much earlier. What do we want to do? Okay. So there are a couple of things in here that I will highlight that what can the team do in terms of that. Number one, possibly do nothing, right? If it's only an hour or two, maybe go home. Okay. Is that possible? I don't know. If it is, do so. Number two, work on things that help you deliver as a team. Collaboration, for example. So what comes to mind is team building, things that will help you to work together as a team to deliver much better. Number three is tech dev. Are there anything that as a team you were hoping to do from a technical standpoint? Cleaning up some code, cleaning up some pipeline, things like that, that could help you. Number four, simple, pull in more work. If you got nothing to do, what's in the backlog? Are there anything you can pull in to do the work? Number five, prep for the next sprint. I've seen teams where they have an hour or two, so then they take some time to look at the backlog, look at the stories, so they know what's coming. Number six, possibly do a backlog refinement. Do you have enough work in your backlog that is ready for you to pull in? If not, maybe get better at that. So I want to go back to the notion of pulling in more work. What can you do as a team to pull in more work? So number one, the easiest one is, of course, is ensuring that your backlog have work that is ready. Ready means that you have looked at it in backlog refinements. At any point in time, you can pull those in. So a good hygiene for a backlog is usually 2 to 3 sprints worth of work that you're ready to pull in. So pull in more work, simply that. The second one that you could do is plan for more. So during sprint planning, pull in more work. So what is my not to do? I think my not to do is very, very easy, which is do not stop your sprint or start a new one for that matter. Okay. A sprint is a time box. It's just time, just like 24 hours in a day. We all have the same time, right? You don't stop and say, oh, today it's only 18 hours. We're going to start the next day. We don't do that. So what may happen when you look at trying to do more? Number one is the fear of failure, right? There's this idea, or there are some teams that I know we look at commitment to completed ratio, right? Or commitment to actual ratio, right? Where ideally, if you get 100%, which means that, everything we committed to do, we completed it. That's a good thing. Maybe, okay? So ideally, you do not want to get 100% of those all the time. If it is, I think there's something wrong with it. And this fear of failure could also lead to undercommitment. Because if you want to look good on your metrics, guess what? Commit less and you always deliver. So your commitment is always 100%. The second thing that could be holding the team back from committing more is simply what I consider the velocity ceiling trap. Oftentimes, we measure, on average, what is my velocity? 10 points, 20 points, 30 points, 40, whatever that number will be. And we use that not just as a guideline, but potentially as a ceiling. Now, it's unintentional, but it comes across that way. So an example, Scrum Master shows up, hey team, the last time we did 40 points. Let's go see what we can do in this sprint. So you start saying, okay, that's 5 points, that's 2 points. So you start adding math in your head to 40 points and you say, stop. That's good enough, right? Now, that is what I consider as a ceiling trap. Basically, you create artificial ceiling for the team, and the team will not go above that. Okay, that's not a good thing. So how do we navigate around these two things? So I think number one, we're going to go back to the Scrum values. One, we talk about courage. Well, what does courage mean? Courage is one, to talk about, hey, we have time, right? Two, courage to fail. It's okay to extend and go for more and do less. Now, we don't want to do that all the time, right? But enough to a point where we can figure out, where we can go, how much more we can take on, what's our new capability. Because over time, as you do things, you get better at it, right? The more hours you spend, the more time you spend, your skill set increases where you're now finishing things faster. So don't be afraid to take on more. How do we avoid the velocity ceiling trap? I think the practice that I like to do is, one, ignore my velocity. Do not bring in my past velocity into sprint planning. I don't do that. Okay? I don't want to do that. Now, if I even do that, it'll probably be at the very end of the sprint planning, just merely as a kind of a check and have a conversation around. So how I would do this is simply this. My sprint planning is basically have the sprint backlog empty, right? Empty. As a team, take the first story and says, okay, team, can we complete this? Team says yes, put it in, right? Take the second one, put it in. Take a third one, put it in. Along the way, we check and ask the question, team, are we full? Are we comfortable with it? Now, I will keep adding until the team says, I think we have enough. Now, at that point, I will check with doing the fish to 5 technique, where I will ask, how comfortable are we with completing everything that we have in the sprint backlog? If it's a 4 and a 5, I would maybe ask, team, would you like to take on one more? I'd like to get to a point where the team's a little bit uncomfortable. Well, a little bit. Maybe I would say 3 to 4s. I think 4s, a little bit more 4s, and maybe 1 or 2 3s along that way. I think that's the sweet spot that I've found in my experience around that. So that's a good way to either push the team a little bit and then not too much. And after that, what I do as a Scrum Master, then I will look into my velocity, right? I'm not even telling the team, look at me, where do we fall? Are we above or below, right? And then I may bring them, hey team, in the past we actually committed to more or less, and then have a conversation as to why. So maybe we have more capacity, maybe we have less, maybe we're more skilled now, we're more experienced now, so we can finish things faster. So have that conversation. There you have it, episode 10. Give it a like if you like this video or this type of content. Give me a comment below. What did I miss? What else would you share? What else would you do and not do? All right, until the next time, bye.